Show by your house.
All right, I got 9 o'clock officially. Good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. on July 11th, 2024, and this is the time and place for the Bismarck Parking Authority's regular monthly meeting. I see that we have a quorum, including our newest member. Welcome to Mayor Schmitz. We're happy to have you join us. Thank you for joining us. As the portfolios got reassigned at the city, the mayor was kind enough to pick up the Parking Authority portfolio. We appreciate that. The first item of business would be consider the minutes from the June 13 meeting. Any changes, corrections, suggestions, redactions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So approved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. We'll move on to the regular agenda. The first item there would be to review the financial statements. And we have management, typically will give us an overview and then open it up for questions of the authority members if there's anything significant that Jeremy would like to point out, or just give us the overview.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, authority board members, the financial statement in front of you that was in your packet is for the month ending through June. And so for year-to-date, we have a half a year of data here through end of quarter two, I guess, but reflects January through June of 2024. And so happy to report we're actually ahead of budget on total income by roughly about $40,000 total combined income, mostly due to general parking. Hourly parking is up by $13,000 so far year to date. A lot of that comes from 6th Street ramp now that word is out that there's available parking for weekends and after hours and events that happen at the Bell. And then also we have a larger customer at the 3rd Street ramp, KLJ, since they moved in downtown. So that is helping our monthly parking revenue. Expenses are in line with budget, and as a net effect with total net income year to date, we're ahead by $50,000 compared to budget. We did do a transfer to reserves from the checking balance of $300,000 that went in June. And so our total reserve balance is $2,156,675, combined with checking of $145,128. The total operating funds $2,301,803.
Okay, any questions of management? Any extraordinary items, Jeremy, any extraordinary expenses?
No extraordinary expenses in the month of June.
Didn't see any. Anyone have any questions? Well, Jeremy? If not, is there a motion to approve the finances?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on that motion? If not, call the roll, please, Sue.
Josh?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes, that motion carries. Item 3 under the regular agenda would be to review bid for parkade ramp repairs. We have construction documents for design and administration of the next round of repairs to the parkade. I think they were sent out via email a week or so ago by Jeremy, and I'm not sure if Mayor Schmitz saw them or not. If not, I've got a printed copy. I'm going to pass that down.
Yeah.
It was not part of the packet, the downloadable packet. And I think what you have there is kind of a summary from CW Structural that includes the Walker information.
Mr. Chairman, I do have extra hard copies too,
Oh,
if
okay.
anybody needs it.
Actually, I'll take one.
Yeah, we did receive that late after the packets had went out.
That'd be great. Anybody else need a paper copy? Todd would like one. Does that have the CW
It does.
as well? Why don't you pass that down to the mayor too then, and I'll just take I've just got the summary one. If you want to hand mine back to me, that'd be great. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Jeremy.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll let Jeremy give us, maybe for the sake of our newest member, a little bit of background on the repairs that have been done at the parkade in recent years and what this next round looks like.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, authority board members, Mayor Schmitz, CW Structural had completed a structural analysis for us in the month of April of all the city parking ramps. And via that analysis, they had some recommendations for repairs that are imminent. Not that anything's crumbling by any means, but just that a few items that need to be addressed at the parkade and primarily at the entrance ramp area where there's some dilapidation of concrete in that area. In years past, within the last, I'd say 5 years, there's been quite a few tenon repairs at the parkade ramp on various levels. It is a very specialized process, and so the construction costs are not inexpensive as in that regard. So we had asked CW Structural to give us a bid for engineering, design, and construction management for those particular repairs. And then with those documents, we would use those to go out for RFP for construction companies to do those repairs. So this bid received free from CW Structural is a combined bid. They actually have CW Structural would be the point company, and Walker Consultants would be the sub under them. Walker Consultants is out of Minneapolis, and so they would have they wouldn't be doing the on-site management, and so that's where CW Structural comes in, being a local company, would be the on-site engineer overseeing the projects. And so their combined bid total between the two companies was $81,900. Also to add, we did only receive one bid. We have, in the past, went out for bids to other companies and even at RFP for construction documents, and CW Structural has historically been the only bidder of this work.
Which raises the question, should we decide to pursue or proceed with the next round of repairs? And maybe Janelle can answer, but are we required to go out for another formal RFP, or can we seek sole source approval from the city commission, given this is a very highly specialized area?
If there's
Good
no
morning.
other entities in our country that can do this work, you can go ahead and do sole source. My guess is that's not the case. My guess is when you do the RFP, you're going to have one bidder.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, you'll have to, I'm afraid.
So when you say our country, you mean like the United States of America, or do you mean like Western North Dakota?
Wherever you choose to reside at this point, Jim.
Which means the United States. Okay. So Jeremy, how long will that process take, roughly?
So, yeah, it would take, well, about a month for administration and management to put together the RFP. Then for advertisements is a 3-week process, so bid opening would probably be about 2 months out, 2+ months. But, I mean, given that, the time frame, CW Structural did make mention that they could expedite this to get repairs done yet by the end of 2024. However, that would potentially inflate costs from construction companies since their plates are full at this time. So pushing it out to repairs for spring of 2025 would probably be to our benefit anyway, so we could give ourselves some time.
Okay. Well, it appears we have no control over that aspect of it. And again, these repairs, we've been talking about these for 4 years, right? Since 2020, some of them?
These were items that were in their prior years' reports to eventually be addressed.
So as Jeremy said at the outset, the ramp is not in danger of imminent failure, put it that way, but they do need to be taken care of. These are big, old concrete and steel structures. This one's particular is about 60 years old, I think, so it's getting up there. Questions of Jeremy? Jake?
I just had one question on the proposal from CW Structural. If we're reviewing that today on page 3, it looks like there's a math error. So on bullet point B, the phase 3 engineering services during construction, they have the $30,100 lump sum total. But then if you go to task 1 and task 2, those two items don't add up to the lump sum total. So I would just,
31
yeah, correct. There's $1,000
error.
error there. So I would just have CW take another look at that, I guess.
31,000.
That's pretty nitpicky, but yeah. something I looked at.
Okay. They're structural engineers, they just, you know, take a wild scientific guess. All right, make that correction. Anything else, any other comments or questions? Anybody have anything for Jeremy? What are your wishes? I guess the action here today would be to proceed with the RFP.
Just one more question.
Sure.
So would there be any reason why we wouldn't, on the proposal, require, or basically asked for the work to be completed in 25? I mean, would be the jeopardy reason to try to push it for 24, recognizing that the cost factor is probably gonna be higher? We're probably more apt to get, even though we have one bidder, probably the opportunity to look at spring work.
Chairman and Parking Authority board members and Kyle. So to your question, so this proposal is only for the construction documents and management of the project. So the actual, so the first step would be RFP for this part. And then, once those documents are in place, then RFP for the actual construction work, which at that point, then we would put in the objectives to be completed in 20, or, but, you know, we put that time frame out there.
2025.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, good question. Anything else, anybody? So again, we would need a motion to proceed, to direct management to proceed with the RFP for the design services.
I'll make a motion to proceed with a RFP for the design services for structural engineering.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Todd. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, would you call the roll, please? Sue?
Josh,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes, that motion carries. Thank you. Under other business, Kate, do you want to talk about the effects of Third Street construction is having on downtown businesses and possible remedies?
Sure. Chairman, authority members, Kate Herzog with the Downtowners. Since we have a new member, I want to introduce myself. Couple things. You just took this portfolio so you could spend more time with me, which I'm really excited about. Couple things, yeah, Third Street, it's not as long and as arduous of a project as we had in 2022 downtown because the repairs are more mill and overlay and it's not like full panels necessarily for concrete repair. But with Third Street and Third and Thayer, particularly that intersection being closed for like a couple of weeks, that's really affected those couple of restaurants that are in, I guess what I would call the district still, Fire Pit, Nara, Ramen. Jail Beers has a pretty strong following, but I'm sure they're probably a little bit down. And then a couple of our retailers, like Lullaby and Modernize, that are kind of right next to the ramp. So one of the property owners had reached out to us asking if there were a possibility to, have the ramps open, just for this limited construction window, a little bit more free for customers. So we reached out to Jim, and Jim and Jeremy chatted a little bit. Obviously, the Third and Rosser lot is sold, and that would be tough to open up during the day. But Jim, you had talked about the rooftop, or you and Jeremy had talked about the rooftop at Third and Main. So right now the free hours are 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. And so this would just be, through that construction time, if we could maybe utilize that a little bit more.
Let's visit about that before you go on to other downtown. Jeremy and I did talk about it. The rooftop does have availability, and it would be a question of, thank you, Mayor.
I will be able to stay through the
That's-
rest of the event once I get up.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. So the question would, if we want to do this, would to open the rooftop up for free parking during the duration of this construction project, is they're going to have to figure out how to manage that, obviously.
I'm gonna grab the schedule too
Sure.
while you guys chat.
And Jeremy, feel free to give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, authority board members, again, Jim and I were talking about this, and then I had discussed with Corey, our parking authority manager, as well, because it would, ultimately behoove the on-site team there to be able to kind of regulate and watch that, because if we started to get too congested to the point where our current monthly paying customers are unable to find spots, we'd have to, turn off the the extra flow, so to speak. But the absorption at this point, the rooftop it has quite a few available spots, I think 50 plus at this point. So if it was only for a 5 to 6 week duration, we don't foresee at this point where it would be an issue where we'd, wouldn't have available parking for our current customers, as well as be able to absorb those normal, I guess, patrons of the downtown Third Street businesses that normally park along the street.
And from my perspective, I don't see the users being necessarily from Nara Ramen, which is 3 blocks up the street. They're gonna park by the post office and walk or whatever. But for sure, what's the boutique on the corner?
Lullaby, Modernized.
Will be modernized, JL Beers, the ones that are
Gallery
more
22.
directly affected. So how would you see that working? How are they gonna direct their customers, make sure they park on the top level, and then validate that it's a free?
We'd have to, we'd put some marketing together for them that they would be able to use. Just so you guys know, the road closure at the intersection of 3rd Street and Thayer Avenue should be open up to live traffic Wednesday, July 17th. Concrete repairs on Rosser Avenue should be completed later this week with traffic control pulled to the side middle next week. Then concrete repairs on Broadway Avenue from 3rd to 4th Street and from 6th to 7th Street should be completed early next week and traffic control pulled to the side. Northern improvement plans on beginning the milling operation the week of the 22nd, so the mill and overlay. All streets in the project will have traffic control devices in place and will be no parked at that time to allow for the milling machine to,
Kate,
do
how many
its thing.
streets get milled and overlaid? Do you know, can you name the streets? Is it Third, Broadway?
I can send you the project map. 3rd Street's gonna get some mill and overlay. I'll send you the project map, because some of it is the curb cuts for ADA accessibility. They're doing quite a few different sort of things.
So that part of the project will go on for a few weeks, or?
Yeah, so
Month or better.
it says they're starting on the 22nd. All streets in the project have traffic control devices. After the milling operation is complete, Northern Improvement will pave the surface with the asphalt.
Because my initial thinking is that, if we're gonna be done with substantial closures by the middle of next week, by the time we get the word out and all that, then, but if it's.
There'll still be no parking there for a
Okay.
few weeks
Sure,
on
if they're
that
doing,
street. Yeah.
that's important to understand, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, it's no driving, and then it'll go back to no parking, right?
Questions of Kate? Anybody?
A question. So, obviously, to best satisfy the retailers that are there and, say that obviously we're trying to do something for them prospectively, but, what is the factor of having some type of a surge of, 50 cars, right, at any one point in time? If there are, so, I guess I kind of look at it going that I think it's a good gesture. I think Jim's point about the timeline is it really something you can do and effectively make a difference, because it's a pretty short window in that regards. However, what jeopardy are we at of having some type of a surge?
I think we need to do what we can to try and help. And we talked about even the Third and Rosser surface lot, and that just doesn't work for free parking during the day. People pay monthly fee, they have, it's full, so. Jeremy, go ahead.
One more question. From a management perspective, what challenges does it pose with regards to the situation of just monitoring it, and if for whatever reason there's a surge that you've got to dial it back? Because I think obviously if it's something that the Parking Authority Board decides to provide some type of relief, even if it's for a short time, is it some caveat that says it'll be monitored, and if there's a need, go into that a little bit?
Yep, Chairman, Authority Board members, Kyle. So, yeah, it would be just kind of playing it by ear at this point, because for the quantity of vehicles that would normally park on the street, that could potentially get tight, but we would just have to monitor it like on a daily basis, and then if it becomes if it becomes an issue, adjust, I guess. So, as far as how to control the flow, I think that, administratively, it might be cumbersome as far as trying to get validation vouchers out there at this point in time. It might be more of just to open the gate. There's risks, of course, with that too. But at the same time, quantity of parkers, we may only see, 20 or 30 vehicles that normally park on those streets at those times. And then the other part is just, I guess kind of getting the word out and how to facilitate that part of it.
Jeremy, would it require, and if it does require additional manpower staffing, if you will, at that ramp for the next few weeks, do you have staff available that can step up, and if we need to put more bodies in there?
Yeah, I guess I'll defer to Corey on that as far as available time and how many trips, I guess, that they make over to that ramp on a daily basis.
Right now, we wouldn't have any additional personnel available, but we do have a count system in the main office that we can monitor throughout the day, which we already do. If we see it getting full and where it's maxing out, we can have the option of going to closing that exit gate, or closing the exit gate, and make it not, make so people know the application is going on.
Okay, or you might get overtime.
I don't expect that. I mean, we just want to give an additional option for everybody. I don't know that we'll pull every street parker
Of course.
onto the rooftop, but the other, maybe some of the other things complicating it is some of the side streets they would normally park on are also closed to parking, including at least halfway, into the next, on the east-west streets, and on 4th Street, KFYR is going to be doing a food truck thing, so it's going to close that block as well. So it's just, there's a lot of closures for different reasons downtown right now.
And not to get ahead of the agenda, but that food truck thing, is that going to take the place of the Thursday?
I think that they're kind of workshopping that this year to see if they're going to do it annually, but yeah, it would sort of kind of be a new urban harvest.
Are they doing it one time this year?
No,
or
they're going to do a
like
few weeks
5
of it.
them or whatever?
Yep.
Okay. Kyle?
Just one more comment, and I think one of the things I have to be careful for too is if we set a precedence where let's say we open this up and then you shut it down, and it seems a bit confusing to people. It's like, well, it was open last week, but it's not open this week, so it's, again, I feel a little bit mixed on it, just do you bear through it? At the same point, do you provide something for those retailers and businesses that are there, but also understand the caveat that you begin to set a precedence, and it's then how do you just like, well, we're no longer going to do that? And then all of a sudden you look pretty negative with regards to the, they did it for this, why can't they do it for that? And
As Jeremy said, we'll have to play it by ear, figure it out.
Maybe we can send DOT a bill. They're
you
doing the
go.
project, so maybe.
Well, the good news, Kyle, for this board is that we just give direction and they have to implement it. So they have to figure it out. So, other thoughts or questions on the topic? What are your wishes? I think we should move ahead with it personally, but someone want to make that in the form of a motion?
I would move that we allow parking during this time frame, if we want to set a specific time to this trial, I guess, and leave the discretion to management.
The time frame being the construction project? Sure. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Anybody? If not, call the roll, please, Sue.
Josh,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes, that motion carries. Kate, what else do you have for the good of the order?
Yeah, and Jeremy, I'll get you hooked up with Kyle at the engineering department who's handling the project, so you'll get probably more frequent updates and timelines on where they're at with the mill and overlay. The other thing I wanted to mention is we talked about this at City Commission on Tuesday night. We have access now, and I think we've mentioned it here too, access to location-based software now. And I'll give this to you at the end. You can kind of look at it a little bit. I pulled a report for the Radisson just to look at how that, how they've been doing, year over year. You can see spikes in their traffic, where people are coming from. A lot of people coming from the Delta terminal and going right to the Radisson, going from the Galleria to the Radisson, which is interesting. So partly we can use this, I think, to look at what's happening to the existing ramps. Maria is essentially, we're going through and putting all the points of interest within the downtown into the software. So we'll be able to see the ramps and be able to pull them out separately. We can look at, traffic patterns, who's going, where they're coming from, which I think is going to be really interesting for you all. On the looking ahead side, I think it's going to be very helpful for us as we're looking at a potential new parking ramp as well. And we can look at that lot as it is. We can do a number of things, how people are We can also look at what roads they're taking to get there, which may inform us a little bit onto entry and exit points of a, new possible ramp, things like that. So, just wanted to let you know that it is available now. We can certainly pull any reports for you that you would like, to look at, whether it's the
Maybe
ramps or.
after the construction season?
Yeah,
Don't-
we'll be able to see what that did also to our, Third Street folks as well. We're also able to look back to 2016, so we can look at things like COVID recovery, just in terms of foot traffic or who's coming to places now, what times of the day they're going to places. So for us, it should inform a lot of really cool things for you all. And then looking ahead, working on a new parking ramp and maybe.
There's
being
data
able
that
to
goes
help.
back to 2016,
Yep.
terms of
So we could
collecting
look
the-
at each year.
cell phone locations.
Yep. But you look,
Cell phones off.
Scary.
and you look at the Radisson, and obviously, when I looked at 3 years, year to date, 3 years ago, it was a huge spike. They were up 50%. Well, it's because 2020 and 2021
Yeah,
were
it's a
terrible.
dip.
But they're, I think this year they're up like 2% or something, just kind of some steadier increases I think that we're seeing. So to me, it looks like it's getting more normal from a year-to-year increase in foot traffic. So we're able to pull a lot of cool things where they go. Could inform, advertising things as well for you all or for businesses. The possibilities are endless. So we probably want to pick a few things we want to get out of it and utilize it that way. But it's
Good.
pretty cool. We also see spike in events as well. So we could look at the ramps and see,
I would think that would be very useful information.
I looked at the elbow room when we were talking with the city commission on Tuesday, and you could see the big spike from McQuaid's weekend, and you see a big spike from New Year's Eve and St. Patrick's Day and stuff. It's very cool information. So
Okay.
at your disposal, if you'd like us to pull any reports for you, please let us know.
Thank you. Any questions? Anything else, Kate?
Street Fair, September 13th and 14th. I know it's only July, but it's really only have a couple
Okay.
more meetings until.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone have anything else for the good of the order this morning? If not, and if there's no objection, we stand adjourned until August 8th. Thanks, everybody.